My neighbor wouldn't stop watching my place, so I waved. It started 3 weeks after I moved in. Every time I walked to my car, I'd see the blinds move in the house across the street. Every time I mowed the lawn, there she was, standing at her window, arms crossed, staring. At first I thought I was imagining it, then I started timing it. 7:15 a.m. when I left for work, she was there. 6:30 p.m. when I got home, she was there. Saturday morning, when I took out the trash, there she was. I asked my other neighbor about her. He just shook his head. That's Mrs. Carver. She's the neighborhood watch, self-appointed, been reporting people for years. Reporting them for what? Everything. Trash cans left out too long, cars parked wrong, grass too tall. She got the Daltons fined 3 times last summer. I nodded and went inside, checked my grass, checked my trash cans. Everything was perfect. So why was she watching me? The answer came a week later. A letter from the HOA. Violation notice. My security cameras were mounted too high. $50 fine. I didn't even know there was a rule about camera height. I paid the fine and adjusted the cameras. 3 days later, another letter. My outdoor lights were the wrong color temperature. $75 fine. I looked across the street. Mrs. Carver was at her window. She saw me looking and didn't even move. Just stood there, watching. 2 more weeks, 2 more fines. My welcome mat was too large. My garden hose was visible from the street. $200 total. I started keeping track. Every time I saw her at the window, I wrote it down. Times, dates, duration. She was watching my house for hours every single day. That's when I started planning. I went to the HOA office and requested a copy of all the bylaws. All 47 pages. Read every single one. Twice. Found exactly what I was looking for on page 31. Section 7.4. Residents shall not engage in surveillance or monitoring of neighboring properties in a manner that constitutes harassment or invasion of privacy. I smiled. The next morning, I walked outside at 7:15 a.m. Right on schedule, the blinds moved. I looked directly at her window and waved. Big smile. Friendly wave. She didn't wave back. I did it again that evening and the next morning. And every single time I saw those blinds move for the next 2 weeks, I waved. I smiled. I made direct eye contact. She started closing the blinds completely, but I knew she was still there. I could see the shadow. Then I submitted my complaint. 47 documented instances of Mrs. Carver monitoring my property. Time-stamped photos of her at the window. A log of every fine she'd reported me for within 24 hours of her surveillance sessions. A formal accusation of targeted harassment under Section 7.4. The HOA called an emergency meeting. Mrs. Carver showed up in her Sunday best, ready to defend herself. She had a folder of her own, photos of my violations, notes about my comings and goings, a literal spreadsheet tracking my daily schedule. She presented it proudly, like it proved her point. The board president stared at her. Mrs. Carver, you've been tracking this man's movements for 2 months? I'm protecting the neighborhood. Someone has to maintain standards. He looked at her spreadsheet again. You have his work schedule memorized. You know what time he showers based on when his bathroom light turns on. The room went quiet. One board member leaned forward. Marjorie, this is disturbing. Mrs. Carver's face went red. He's the problem, not me. I've lived here for 22 years. The board president cleared his throat. We're rescinding all fines issued to Mr. Calderon based on your reports, and we're issuing you a formal warning for harassment. Her jaw dropped. You can't do that. We just did. He looked at me. Mr. Calderon, we apologize for the inconvenience. I nodded, stood up, walked toward the door. Mrs. Carver grabbed my arm. You think you've won? I looked at her hand, then at her face. I think you should check your mailbox tomorrow. She let go. The next morning, she found a letter from the HOA. Her blinds were the wrong material. Violation of Section 4.2. $50 fine. I was the one who reported it. She moved 6 months later. Sold the house to a nice couple with 2 kids. They wave back when I wave at them. Sometimes I still check the window across the street. Old habit, but the blinds don't move anymore. Turns out the best way to stop someone from watching you is to make sure everyone's watching them.